Y'all, what's up? Skylar here with Sky Gardens. I grow flowers in West Texas. This is actually the rose garden behind us and quite a few weeds right in this area because, well, that's what we're going to be talking about today actually. So I am so excited to have y'all here. I'm excited to get to talk about this and really welcome to y'all. I don't know if you've watched this before or if this is your first time and you stumbled into this and you don't know what you're getting into, but this is our In His Creation segment here on YouTube. And I really felt God calling me to do something. It was like it kept on going and you know, people were like, Sky, get on the YouTube. Like, get on the YouTube. You need to get on YouTube. Like, and it's one of those things I was like, okay, I don't know if I can have another social media platform to keep up with at this point in time because I'm tending the garden, right? Like, I've got a whole lot to do out here kind of all the time. And so it was one of those things I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And then it wasn't people saying, you know, to get on and do this, but it was just them saying, get on the YouTube. And I was like, okay, maybe whenever I have time, you know, I'll do a couple of videos. And I'd done a couple of videos, tutorials in the garden, and something like that. Those are going to go away. But I started thinking, you know, I want, and really the whole mission of Sky Gardens is to share Jesus with people. And I want to do that in a better way than just a Facebook post or an Instagram post, and then to be able to communicate it better than actually just the words on a screen. And so I was like, okay, well, how can we do that? How can we, you know, talk about Jesus more in our stories? Yeah, okay, but that's not permanent. That won't last, right? If we got on YouTube and just shared what I'm seeing in the garden each week, that would be something that I could do. Like, I could tell people how I'm seeing Jesus right now in the garden and what he is doing through the garden and through the people that come here and the things that are said and done, and that's the goal. That is totally the goal. And so that's what we are going to be talking about throughout all of these segments here. And this one today has been a little bit tricky, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I haven't been able to find a time to film it because it's been windy outside and hot and dry and nasty, and I've just been trying to work on things outside at the same time with that. And I'm like, okay, but what am I going to talk about that is more than what I've just been saying, right? I don't want to repeat things, and not like there's a whole Bible worth of things that we can talk about, but I want it to be relevant to the garden no matter what and how I'm feeling in the garden right now. And yesterday I honestly felt pretty defeated. It was like the devil kept on throwing shots, and I was like, you know, there's weeds here, there's weeds there, it's dry, it is hot, it is nasty outside, it's windy, and I can't get things done, and I can't get the things planted that I need to get planted, and I can't help that. Like, it's what is happening right now. It's the weather, and it's not fun, right? And I thought about this Bible verse, and it's kind of funny because we're actually going to camp in a couple of weeks, and at camp I get to work with the staff girls, and so they are freshman and sophomore girls, and I mean also the staff boys, but I'm like with the staff girls more than anything. And we do this Bible verse that the leaders of the staff, they are awesome people, and they came up with this Bible verse for us to, well, they didn't come up with it, God came up with it, but went with this verse for us to talk about throughout the week. And I think it's really, really important because I think every time that I hear it and every time I hear us doing it, I'm like, yeah, this is, I mean, I feel like this might be just the motto right here, because this is how it kind of is. And we talk about, you know, we're cleaning toilets and we are scrubbing dishes all week and all these different tasks, and it's a lot of hard work. And we find still the way to get it done, the way to get it through, and it's a God thing. And that is what this Bible verse talks about. You know, these weeds right here, silly graspers are starting to come up everywhere. And it's exhausting, and it's hard, and it's tiring, and I'm just trying to stay on top of everything, and it seems like an impossible task. But this verse, it just goes straight into it. So the one that I have memorized is the NIV version. I've got my King James Version Bible with me here today. So it's a little bit different, and I really like the way that it says it, but I've still got it stuck in my head of the other way. So if I kind of stumble, I'm just going to warn you. That's the reason why it's I'm trying to say a different version. But it says, "For we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ the Lord." And it's in 2 Corinthians 4, starting in verse 5. "For we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ the Lord, and ourselves as your bondservants for Jesus' sake. For it is God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ." The word "display" does not appear. "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellence of the power may be of God and not of us. We are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. Always carrying about in the body the dying of the Lord Jesus, that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our body. For we who live are always delivered to death for Jesus' sake, that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our mortal flesh. So then death is working in us, but life in you." That is so cool to me, because we are working for God's glory. And it's not about us. It truly is not. And I think that's what I actually talked about on Instagram last night is I can get exhausted doing this. Our mortal bodies can get exhausted working as hard as we do and doing things. But whenever you have Jesus, whenever it is for his plan and his purpose and for God's glory, it is a renewed energy that flows through you. And if you don't believe that, I come out here and try to get some weeds with me someday. And truly, I don't know if anybody would want to continue doing this job. It's on my hands and knees and working, and it's just a lot. But it's not for me. It's not. And I want to be a servant to Jesus. I want God to say, "Okay, yes, let's go use Skylar right now. Let's go and make our glory known to the world through this garden." And then I feel like he keeps on saying, "Skylar, tend my garden. Tend my garden." Skylar, I know it's hard. I know it's rough. I know it's hot and windy and nasty. And it just tend my garden, Skylar. And that's the whole goal, right? We want to share Jesus with the world and build his kingdom here. And this verse talks about how whenever we are exhausted, it is not our life, but the life of Jesus, right? For it is God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of God's glory. In the very first part, for what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord. And whenever we're preaching Jesus Christ as Lord, and whenever that is true, and it's displayed in our actions and in our thoughts and in all the different ways, that is what comes. That is what comes, is Jesus Christ as Lord. And that's the reality of it all. And I hope if you are in a time of being extremely tired and exhausted and okay, I need a little bit of rest, God. I need a little bit of rest. Push through. I know that you're doing things for His glory and for His purpose and plan, and not for our own fulfillment, but for His, that is where we'll find rest, and we'll find deliverance, and we'll be able to continue working for His glory. And that's exciting. It's funny, you can get excited to get out there and go and get more weeds today. And I might not get very much crossed off the list, but that's okay. Because God's here, God's working, and God is alive. And I hope that His body shines through mine. So, thank y'all so much for joining here today. That is truly what I'm seeing in the garden. And I'm going to keep on working. Keep on working. And hopefully it's pleasing in His sight. My praise and my worship by my acts of service to Him can be pleasing and honorable. So, thank y'all so much for joining me today. I'm going to go get some of those weeds that the devil has put in my garden. I'm going to keep on trying to get them out. Thank y'all. I will talk to you soon. I really appreciate you tuning in here today. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, a thumbs up, and that'll tell the algorithm, hey, this is a good thing to have on YouTube, and you need to share it with more people. And so,